Alright, hey, what's going on? Today I'm going to show you guys how to install a 3-inch MBRP downpipe on a 2007 Chevrolet Silverado 6.6 liter Duramax diesel. And this is the LBZ version, so this is going to go for the 2006 to 2007. But if you have a Duramax, it's pretty much going to be about the same thing. The parts can be a little different, the bolts might be different sizes, but other than that, it's pretty much going to be the same process. Before we get started, let's go ahead and deep fry this turkey. Stay tuned and see how this thing turns out. Alright, hey, what's going on, guys? Thanks for watching. And today I'm going to go ahead and install the 3-inch downpipe that I've been talking about for about a month now. I'm really excited to do this thing. I haven't installed it yet, so I'm driving, I'm in the cab, windows are up. And you know that loud screech that you get when you get on it? I would say not even really just wide open throttle, but just like 3/4 like this here. That loud, woo, you know what I'm saying? That screech noise that I'm talking about. It sounds freaking cool, don't get me wrong, guys, but it's not the best thing. I mean, because if you guys actually look at the downpipe of your turbo, there's actually a little restrictive like pinch to the pipe to fit between your firewall and your engine, and that's what's making that noise. So this 3-inch downpipe is going to give it a lot better airflow. I want you guys to stay tuned because I will be doing a full review sound bite of this thing, and it will be a little bit later, so I need you guys to stay tuned. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you guys do that as well. I'm always posting a lot of upgrades on this Duramax, so stay tuned. It comes in a cool little package right here. I figured right when I opened the box, it would just have a bunch of popcorn peanuts and packing stuff in there. So look at that, that's neat. Alright, let's get her open. It's like Christmas time. Here we go. Oh, that's it's kind of heavy. All right, there it is. 3-inch downpipe. What does it come with? It's got a little please read before installing thing here, and that's pretty sharp. It's gonna go in like that. So it's got the heat wrap around it right here. And I think this is going to turn out pretty nicely. Okay, so check it out. It's actually got pretty nice welds right here. It's not too bad. Looks like it'll fit just nicely. Can't wait to get it on. Okay, so I'm going to do my best helping you guys out. But this is going to be very challenging to video by myself doing this. So I'll try to get the best shots I can. So I do apologize though for some of you guys that are really trying to get a good look at this, but I'm going to help you out here. Okay, so first of all, what you want to go ahead and do is take off that big resonator box. It's right up here. Obviously I don't have one. I did a delete. But make sure you take that off. It's pretty self-explanatory. It's just a clip right here, and there should be like an Allen bolt that screws into the resonator box there. Next, what you want to go ahead and do is pull off your heat shield. There's going to be two bolts right on the top of that. In my case, I did a turbo billet wheel upgrade to my truck. So I just took off that heat shield and I left it off. And for some of you guys that are like, should I put it back on? You know, this is my 3rd Duramax I've owned. I've always had those heat shields off. I've never had an issue with heat or whatever. It's really not a problem, but it's really just your preference. Okay, so once you take off that heat shield, you're gonna have the heat shield that goes right. This heat shield right here is the next thing that you're gonna be wanting to take out. And then of course this is your downpipe, and then your clamp right here that this is gonna have to come off as well. And this is gonna be very stubborn to get off. But let me show you what I'm talking about here. You're gonna have these bolts right here. That are holding the heat shield. This heat shield has to come out. The only way for this to happen is once you take off the 3 bolts that hold this heat shield on, you're going to want to pull this heat shield out first, but through the top of the engine, okay? And then once you get the downpipe loosened, you get all the bolts off of that, it's going to want to go downward through the side of the fender here, right through there. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so once you got that shroud out, the next thing you're going to want to go ahead and do is that transmission dipstick tube, which is right here. You see how it goes down right there? Okay, that actually has to, you have to take the nuts off and loosen that, because as you can tell, this heat shield right here is actually in the way. It won't come down unless you take off this transmission tube dipstick right here. All right, so let me show you how to do that really quick. As you can see, you got a nut there, and then you also got another nut right there, right where my finger is. There's two of them, 1 and 2. That's a bracket. Okay, that bracket is attached to this transmission dipstick holder right here. Okay, so these 2 nuts have to come off in order to get this thing loose, because what we're going to want to go ahead and do is attack this heat shield right here. This whole heat shield has to come out. Once we get these 2 parts out of the way, I believe this is the hardest part of the job, is just getting the dipstick tube out, and then the heat shield. Once we get the heat shield out, this should be pretty much cake right here. But make sure you use plenty of WD-40. I'm gonna go ahead and just take my air ratchet to some of these clamps, just to make it quicker for me. Okay, I'm just right now I'm just loosening those 2 nuts that hold the dipstick tube. You got this one, and it's going to be a 13 millimeter. Alright, so I got that one done, and then this one right here. Because as you can tell, it's a bracket right here. It's held on a bracket. This dipstick tube has to move out of the way for this heat shield to clear, so it can drop down. And it's also easier to get to these little heat shield bolts as well. So, and I'm using one of those ratchet wrenches, man. They're so much easier to use to do this particular job, just because of the access back there. I don't think you're gonna be able to get a ratchet back there, so just use one of these little ratchet wrenches. They're a lot easier. Okay, so I'm not gonna pull that transmission dipstick out. I'm just gonna leave it loose. Just kind of hard to mess around with. I don't want to pull it all the way out and have a hard time trying to get it back in, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it loose. Next, you're gonna have these little 10 millimeter bolts that hold the heat shield on right here. They're just little 10 millimeters, and bear with me. This is again, this is really hard to film here, but right behind there, you're gonna have another 10 millimeter bolt back there, and that one's gonna be pretty tough. You can access it from the top of the engine. That's what that's actually what I'm doing. Okay, so once you've removed the 2 10 millimeter bolts from the top of the engine for that heat shield, you're gonna want to go ahead and come on back down here and remove that 3rd one, which is right here. That guy right there. Another 10 millimeter, and this should loosen up your heat shield right here. Alright, so I kind of turned it sideways like this, and then kind of pulled out like that. I had to bend this piece right here just a little bit, but obviously it wasn't that hard. I got it out. Okay, I'll be using a 13 millimeter on this bolt right here. I'm just loosening the band clamp with a socket right now with my hand. I got it pretty loose. Okay. All right, at this point it's loose. And if it gets stuck like that, guys, just use a flathead screwdriver and pry up on it, and it should loosen up. Looks like it's getting stuck right here. Just pry up on it. See, it gets loose like that when you pry up with a screwdriver. Yeah, that's what that other side of that band clamp looks like. There we go. Just don't lose that nut right there. Okay, so that's it for the top part. Okay, guys, so I got this off. This was kind of stubborn. What I did is I just took a flathead screwdriver, wedged it in there, and just pried it up like that, and it just popped the rust, the fuse welded rustness off this clamp. So I was able to get that off. Now this part, from what I read, once it gets to this part right here, you just gotta just do this the whole time until you finally get it down. Like that. There we go. Alright guys, so this is the difference between the two. As you can see, very flat. I was talking about that indent right here. You know, it's the same exact size. It's a stock 3-inch diameter size, but as you can tell, there's going to be a whole lot more airflow if you look at the circumference of the pipes in general. This one's flat. This one's obviously a lot more circular. So, you know, it is proven that it will lower EGTs, and I will do a review on that on my CTS Edge monitor, so I can compare the two. But from my understanding, this one should just bolt right on pretty easily. Okay, next, just go ahead and route your downpipe. Okay guys, so I have everything installed, and the only problem that I ended up running into was this bolt right here. It snapped, the head of it snapped when I was trying to pull it out. It was just so tight, but there's enough threading right here at the tip of it. I'm gonna go ahead and just put a bolt on it just to cinch it down so the downpipe doesn't go anywhere. But you know, it's definitely a task. I mean, just because there's not much room in between the engine and the firewall to get to these bolts. I would say the hardest part about this job was that heat shield. That was probably the hardest, but I'm living proof. If you guys read some forums, you have to pull the dipstick tube. I didn't have to do that. I just loosened it, and it worked fine, just fine for me. But yeah, so once you get that done, just go ahead and route it up through, and then okay, now on to the top of the engine. This part right here. The only issue with this part right here is just make sure that it's coupled correctly to the clamp, and then just tighten it down. But other than that, pretty easy job. I mean, you know, the average person, I would say it probably would take you about an hour to do. So no big deal. And let's go ahead and start this thing up. Okay guys, so I hope this video was helpful. Make sure you hit that like button if you want to see more videos like this. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You know, like I was saying in the beginning of the video, I'm always doing a lot of updates on this truck right here. But what's to come? There's some big updates coming up with this truck. Just stay tuned for that. You know, other than that, once you get the downpipe installed to the truck, what you're gonna want to go ahead and do is just check for leaks. You know, my suggestion to you is just get some Windex or some soapy water or whatnot, and just go ahead and spray around the flange areas. Rev it up. Look for air bubbles. Maybe get another person to help you out, just to make sure there's no air bubbles coming through. Because if there is, you have an exhaust leak. You might have to take that band clamp off, readjust it, put it back on, just so it's seating properly. But you know, other than that, I appreciate your time. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below, and I'll get back with you. Thanks for watching. Look at that. Ready to eat.